Welcome. Wow. We do have a call-in show today, 1-800-930-2819. And we have some other things I want to preface before we get to next week. Mercury's retrograde. Feelings are high. Energies are high. Make sure you get to our book club tonight. I was going to say tomorrow night, but tonight we are live. We're having so much fun. So this is week 3. We are going into, and then week 4 next week. So if you're joining us tonight, you will hear, we're going to go through chapter 9. Thank you, God. TracyLClark.com. I want to give a shout out to our producer, Olivia. She is working the phone lines and we work her hard bright and early in the morning for her. We are in different time zones. The great thing with Zoom. So we will give her a yay. You can hear a little bit back there. working. Yeah, it is unprecedented times. Mercury retrograde. You may not be feeling well. People think everybody is immune to it. None of us are immune to it. I know as I've been growing, shifting, changing, don't think that people don't poo on me too. They do. It's normal. It's normal because you change, you grow, your vibration changes. You're maybe not in touch with your feelings, what's happening. And then so you will lash out at somebody or you'll project that out. And this is a time we got to come together. One of the things I love about our community so much that's very different. We do a lot of giving, and that isn't, believe it or not, people get annoyed about that. They get annoyed because it's like, well, I haven't received something or I didn't get something. And it's like, well, wait a minute, that's not how God works. When you step up and you're seen more, right? That's how it works. We're going to talk today about finances. And this is why I say that. It's what makes our community different is because my old world was, yes, financial, and I sold my own company at 26. And I've shared this a lot with you guys. And when I formed the community, I wanted to do it different. I know when I started my journey, I had my one beautiful mentor. You guys have heard me talk about her. And I wanted a place where we could grow in every aspect. Your connection to God has got to be number one right now. It's got to be number one. And it's not easy to do when you have snakes being thrown at you and people's poo projecting. We need to come together. This division that has been created is an enemy spirit division. And none of us can do this journey alone. If you think you can do the journey alone, hats off to you, because I'm going to tell you, I did it alone. It was hard. It sucked. And, I didn't have access to Olga the way that you guys get access to people now, and bless the people that show up every day and work with you. Like, bless them, because it's not an easy thing to always stand in the light. It's seen as effortless because I know God is always channeling, and God's my best friend and has my back, but I'm a human being. They're human beings. So please, we are all humans, trying to make the world better, making the world better. So be extremely discerning, with your words, their power. Thank you, God. With your energy. Thank you, God. And know that in community, we come together. And that's why I made the community the way I did. So do we work on finances? Absolutely. Do we work on health? 100%, because health needs to be number 2. Why does health need to be number 2? Because without your health, you're no good to your family. You're no good to your career. You're no good to anything. So number 2, we work a lot on clearings and activations. And then we move into the next phase, which is your money. Why do we do wealth? Because I don't want you running all over. You can activate your wealth vibe. And then guess what happens? When your wealth vibe is activated and you take action and you understand. So I like to share all the information I have with my community. And then all my beautiful friends that are still over in there that go, yeah, Tracy, what you're seeing is correct. Okay. I'm not saying it's the be all and end all. It can change. Sure. Anything can change. It's energy. It's up to humanity to decide how much do you want to grow. These, and so we put them together because when your wealth is flowing, right, then you have the time, the creativity with your friends, your family, you're happier, you're not stressed out. Thank you, God. And it's so important. So we do the whole wheel. So you don't have to go here for one thing, here for one thing, here for one thing, here for one thing. What we do is we open it all up for you. Thank you, God. So just take that in and say, I'm consenting to the new way. I'm consenting to opening up my gifts, and know that right now there's that we are in this biggest the biggest spiritual battle ever. You got to understand that. That's why we're here. It's why it's exciting. But at the same time, you can feel a little crappy when things are being maybe not, you're like, why is that not coming my way? Just lean in, trust more. You know, I did a Soul Sunday service right before the holidays. It was called Believe. If you go to my website, tracylclark.com, you can watch the whole service there under Soul Sundays. We do this once a month. It raises money for people that we can help. And it's a great service. I actually watched it the other day because I channel when I speak. So I'm done. I forget half the time what came out. So I actually went and watched it. And I was like, wow, there were things that I picked up that God channeled through. I was like, oh, let's shift that. Let's move that. So it's quite beautiful. So go and enjoy it and really, you know, anchor it in. You'll see the other things we're doing, but that's that space. So today I also want to spend a little bit of time. Thank you, God, of prepping you. I was like writing down a few things here. You know, I was listening to this song this morning. It came on. I had to take my little puppy to my daughter's for today. It's a very busy day and he likes to be busy. So today he's having a little babysit. And when I was driving back, that Michael Jackson song came on, They Don't Care About Us. And I thought, isn't this interesting? Isn't this interesting? We're in a time of where your bodies are releasing all that manipulation. Energetically, I will stand by that. I think there's never an accident when our time goes, but that was a forced exit point. Why? Because this man, and this is so relevant to what we're going to talk about for financial, this man was speaking truth. He was speaking, guys, stand up, stop the division, stop looking at color, stop looking at race, stop looking at, you know, religion, stop, just love people, play, childlike faith, have some fun. And if you understand the energies and can see it, you can see why they didn't like the message of somebody being so strong in their music and waking up the souls to remove the manipulation. And this is what's happening in your body right now. So manipulation is moving. And I've invited for next week one of my friends, Jeremy Wiseman, who runs Guildhall Wealth with his family. And he also has the Guildhall Wealth, the money show. He works with people all over the world. And I'm bringing him back because right now, I think it's really important that people understand this message of manipulation and financial manipulation. And a lot of people say, I don't want to really get into my finances. I don't want to understand, but this area has been manipulated for the people that don't really care about any of us, for them to prosper. And they don't care if you're suffering. They don't care. My head is like tingling. Thank you, God. That's always so much truth. They don't care if you're having a difficulty getting ahead. And this is why the bodies are getting more angry. And I'm going to stick by. I've been saying this for over a year. If you've been in my community, I've seen this explosive energy in March. And I don't know, it's March, April, like energy can change, shifts can change, timelines can change if humanity wakes up. I really believe it'll be a catalyst of more truth and bringing people together. And I also believe it's going to be some shaking in the manipulation that we're seeing in the stock markets and money. And I'm not an advisor, go do what you want to do, but you got to remember, who are they all working for? I would say looking at your money and having a wealth vibe with it is about, you know, in the freedom. I laugh because we have a wonderful woman in our community and she works for the bank and she didn't know any of this stuff. She's like, why am I not taught any of this? Because it's outside. And we're going to talk to Jeremy. If you have questions, you know, make sure you let me know, put them on the Facebook group. And it's really important because we're going to talk to him about the markets that are manipulated. Could you imagine? Like, people say to me, oh, $1,800 for gold is so expensive. Well, you know, how much are you paying for your insurance right now? Could you imagine if you didn't wake up with money? There's a theory out there. I don't know how much weightedness in it, but if we go to digital bank currencies, they could very much do that because the bond market's ready to implode. And you're all probably going, whoa, why is she talking about this? Because it's energy and I want to start to shake you up. That will go at some point. And that is where they're talking about reset, World Economic Forum. Like this is stuff I know very well, and I love to share it in my community. And it can be challenging and you can resist it. But they could say, okay, you don't have money in your bank, but I'll give you a digital government currency, but you got to spend it when I tell you to spend it. If you don't, we take it back. There's a lot of things they've talked about, manipulation, but part of what's going on right now is the whole environment is being manipulated. So you're not focusing on these things and not looking at them. And I bring this up now because in my community, it's so important to me that I can share as much as I see, feel, hear, and actually know from people that are very, you know, in these other positions. get you to other people so you understand, like Jeremy, and start to look at things differently. Because everything, we are in our birth canal. You've heard me talk about this a lot. Labor pains, we are getting ready for some big labor pains, like big labor pains. And you can't look at things the way you did even yesterday. Like this year, when I wake up and I'm looking at the day and I'm looking at people's energies, like there's so much flying out of your bodies you're not even aware of. You may know the anxiety is a lot higher right now. You might be waking up with more anxiety because, one, people feel something's coming in the stock market. They know something's happening. Again, manipulation, you've probably seen it if you're paying attention to the news, lots of manipulation. And that tells you how they control things, or if two narratives are not allowed to be spoken about, that's because there's manipulation. So if two narratives can come together and have a good conversation, then you're just looking at different points of view. But when you're shutting down narratives, so that's why your bodies are feeling anxious. That's why they can't sleep. That's why, like, it's all connected. And so humanity is waking up and saying, wait a minute here, we need to come into this space of really loving each other and really coming into harmony. And that includes your wealth. And it's really sad in the spiritual community. I see a lot of people that struggle with this, and you don't have to struggle with it. It's not just swirling a light. It's understanding where in your ancestral line, where in you, and then what is the actual action step you can take. And that's why I'm so excited to have Jeremy here, because if you can have, I always say it's like freedom finances. Like if you understand things outside of their system, that's why people actually love crypto, I'll tell you, and silver and gold. There's like, they kind of are different sort of people, but the reason they like it is there's something within them that says, I'm outside of your system. They don't like you outside of the system, but it's like, I'm outside of the system. No different than if people are protesting, saying enough is enough. We don't want, I don't need my prime minister to tell me how to live. Like I could probably shift him a lot and tell him how to live, because what he's doing and what a lot of these people are doing around the world is just serving themselves. So, that's all it is. So that energy is coming up. Then the energy within you is also coming up of where you were on the other side. So where you had a lifetime, maybe where you stole from people or you manipulated people, and now you've come back to set that right. So when you've come back to set that right, now you can feel more anxious. You can feel more, in that energy. And we're shifting so fast that what you'll see is you'll start to vibrate out of fields faster, which will then take the people that have been around you a long time. They can start getting anxious. They can get disconnected. They can feel what's happening. It's just, you're just saying, look, I've moved here now. Come on, let's go for the party. But a lot of people, what they'll do, and I've seen this in my life many, many times, when I've had a success, I love it that can also become somebody else's success. That's how it's supposed to be. We move together. We create successes together. But what most people do, because of the manipulation that you have grown up in, is that and in the world, right? That's what it is. They're like, no, I got to do it on my own. No, I don't want to be in community. That's weakness. That's actually all weakness. That is insecurity and weakness. And people don't know that. But when you get into community and you're rising each other up, you can take that energy. You can take the learnings. You can reach out. You can have your own successes and then build that for somebody else. So we're meant to go up this ladder of life, thank you God, and build successes for each other, rather than, well, I'm going to do it on my own. I'm just going to go over here. I'm not going to take, that's not how we're meant to live. That's separation. And we're in so much separation now that people that want to be in separation, I'll just do it my way. I'm going to go over here. Like, we are all humans. We all need help. We all require it. I don't care who you are. We all require it. And we all have days where we're up and down. This is the year. This is the year. And I just don't want to see people get caught. I would say I'd rather be early to the party and look at, things like finances and maybe sit on the sidelines. Like, what's the worst? You sit on the sidelines. Okay, March, April goes by and nothing there. I don't think it's going to happen that way unless they manipulate and push out more. I think even if you look at, analytics and actually listen, not your mainstream media, they won't care. But if they were still pumping in 2008, like Lehman Brothers, amazing. Meanwhile, they're pumping it and it's like disappearing because they don't care about you. They care about their ratings. They care about their attention to their people that they need to do what they need to do. Caring about you with your God connection, That's the biggest fear that these big people have, is when you have that connection with community, support. Why do you think there's isolation right now? Support, connection, love, awareness, God. What do? You wake up. And when you wake up, you question, thank you, God. And you're like, maybe I need to change that. Thank you, God. So when you question your health regime, when you question your finances, when you question and you start moving those energies out of your body, just tune in. We'll start to move some of that. Thank you, God. What happens? You become stronger. Your connection to you and God becomes so strong that you start flowing. And then the answers within you start pouring out. And then you're like, oh my gosh, then your vibration is raising and raising. And then this energy can't attack you as much. It doesn't mean it won't. It'll try and try and try, but it won't. You'll be able to see things through more compassionate eyes, more humility. But it also doesn't mean you sit down and let people treat you like garbage. That is such an old way of spiritual thinking that is really stinky. But things have to unfold, and they will always unfold in a way that's easier for you, that's more compassionate for you in the way that you ask. So, quite often people say, am I giving away my power by joining a community? No, it's like, it's like in the Bible, 2 or more, right? Where they gather, there's more growth, there's more prosperity, there's more health, there's more everything, more connection when you come together in community. So it's why I love to do what I do and help you guys each and every day. It's so, so good. So, all right, let's get to some of your questions. And really, I hope you'll tune in next week to Jeremy. I'm going to answer some of your questions. I'm going to see if he'll come in for a call-in show, so maybe he can answer them. But if you're on my Facebook group, just put them there, and I'm going to talk to him about that, talk to him about the manipulation and the metals for a lot of you that understand that. So it's kind of like I was saying to my community today, that what they're doing, and they've done this forever, even in the bond markets, the hedge funds. And if you don't understand, don't worry, don't let it go over your head. Thank you, God, take it in. It would be like if you sold your house to 10 people, this is what they do in the banks. This is why they're in trouble. They'll sell so if you sold your house to 10 people, took all their money, and then said, okay, when you're ready to get the house, just let me know. So the first person comes, or maybe 3 people come, and they come to get their house, but you can only give the house to 1 person. So think about this. They're doing this in your finances all the time. This is why this whole system is going to change. This is why they're talking about a reset, because you need to understand this. So this is why I say you want to set up so no matter what happens, you have a little bit of something so you can keep moving through, but change the fear, get rid of the fear. And it's time that everybody starts to take an understanding of what's happening, because that's what they do. So, they do it every day, and then they tell you, oh, those are scammers. But it's like, well, wait a minute. You're doing this every day, and that's affecting. So I don't know if you know this, but you couldn't walk into the bank with 10 of your friends and take out all of your money. They would say no. So again, like food for thought, manipulation, and it's leaving on every part. So tune in to Jeremy. We're going to have a lot of fun and give you some tips and things that you can maybe consider. So again, you got to go do what's right for you. Thank you, God. It's always about empowering you, uplifting you. Thank you, God, for you to do what's right for you. So it's awesome. Oh, right. Olivia, we're going to go to Louise. She's from Niagara on the phone. Is that correct?
Yeah, let's see. Louise from Niagara. Louise, you're on with Tracy L. Clark.
Hi, Louise. Oh,
Louise, are you there?
Hi.
oh, there you are. We thought we lost you for a minute.
I am. I'm listening to you went to my phone and the tablet. So how are you?
Very good. Thank you. Oh, very good. I know you want to hear what's happening, but then you got to wait for is it me? Is it my turn yet? It's so good. I love it. I'm
prepared. Prepared in all ways. Everything you're talking about. Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Tracy, I have a question. I'm looking for some insight. I've been struggling with this issue since I was 16 years old. I've been struggling with hair loss.
Mm-hmm.
And I have done, you name it, just about everything I could think about. I believe it's very emotional. And yeah, I just would love some insight around it and what you see is going on and how I can kind of turn this around.
Yeah, because that's a big one, right? Huge.
It is. It's
Hey, as women and men, like I can't tell you how many, it shows how many people will say, well, it's not a big deal. And it is. It doesn't matter if you're male or female. I hear this a lot. And there's a few things going on. I might gag, so I apologize because they actually want to move. So it looks like so there are some hormonal adjustments. We have to go back in time. So it looks like as your hormones were changing, I want to say they got plugged, and they got plugged as your body's reading the change of the hormones, like not even trauma, almost more terror, like that this is going from one phase to the next is not good. So when that kind of energy comes up, there's also some very past life energy in there as well. So moving from where the body started, and so it actually started before 16. So when the body was starting to change hormonally, there's a lot of energy around what being a woman actually means and represented to you at that time period. So we can start to move that. What comes up for you when I say that? You got to go beyond, like,
Oh yeah,
go back.
I'm definitely yes, I'm going back to that time, and just like you said, I grew up with a lot of boys, so I had a lot of male energy. So it's finding my femininity, right, my side. So yes, and my dad went through it too, watching my father struggle with it. And being an empath, I felt his pain.
Yes, a lot of his pain. And then there seems like being a woman, like in a lot of these like past lives, I say, I'm going to start to remove them, and the ancestral line. So the hormones, as they got stuck, being a woman meant basically now, okay, so I don't know if you know this, but hair is also very connected to your connection to God. It's very connected to your conduit, and it's not like the be all and end all. It just has another connection. So as you were wrestling with empathic abilities, struggling with that, right? Because let's face it, who really talks about it that back then, right? Nobody. So as your body was wrestling with it then, and then like everything about you becoming a woman it's going to be hard, or you have to give up who you are. Like this is not only this lifetime, but other lifetimes. There's these patterns that it's like women are just sort of dragged along. The men get the opportunities, the men get to do everything. And you're not in that space now. But when I look at this energy in this time, it actually creates a block, because it's like carrying those little bags, but not knowing they're there. It's like the dust bunnies in the closet you don't know are there. So if you're okay, let's start to remove that. We got to start to command those hormones to reset, but we got to go back to like 12, 13. Like that's where it has to go back to. And then we'll disconnect you. What comes up for you when I say that? I'm just going to start to disconnect all these male patterns, and then where you picked up stuff from your dad and started to consent to, oh, I'll help you. And we're going to just break all of that off. Thank you, God. How does that feel when I say that?
Yeah, it definitely, like I said, it really makes sense. Like I know all in those younger years, there was a lot of stuff that I know that I took on, right? Like I just, I accepted.
Yeah, there's a thing I talk a lot about in the community. It's about consent. And what we don't realize is how many things we consent to, like willingly and unwillingly. So even as things happen to us as a child, we take them on because we're afraid, but our fear by taking them on is still an energetic consent. So a lot of times what I say to people is if you start to remove, and you got to look back and say, where did I consent to that? Or did I consent to that? If you didn't, it's like, I'm not consenting to that anymore. Thank you, God. Goodbye. You know, you don't even need to know where the root is. It's like, not consenting, off it goes. Yeah. I'm going to move this out. That's a big part. And we're going to reset the right side of the brain to the left side, and the left side of the brain to the right side of the body. And I'm just going to ask all your ancestors, Federations of the Light, your angelic team, the Christ consciousness, everybody wants to come in and move this out of the ancestral line. And we have to reset the hormones. We have to imprint. So thank you, God. We have to actually put in a stronger imprint now back to the hormonal structure. There we go. And we'll just start to pull this out for you, and then strengthen the hair. So we actually have to strengthen now the connection. There's also some male energy. Okay, so I didn't think that was going to come up. So there's a bunch of male energy that also was holding on to this pattern that we will leave, so we can actually balance out the hormones and command the hair follicles to get nice and strong and then to reset. And then we're going to take your perception off of that. So now we got to start to move that. I know it's a little bit harder. We've had people in the community who've had hair loss and then they're like, oh my gosh, it's like really thick. It's beautiful. So it's a little bit, we're going to reverse the perception now because it's become a habit too. And of course you're looking at it, right? And you're like, wait a minute, you should be growing back now. You should be nice and strong. There's also another, so if I fast forward, you have something about as you get older too, you lose your hair. So we got to go forwards and backwards. Yeah. It's kind of like, you know, when people say when you age, you're all going to cut your hair off short, like women have to cut their hair off short. And I'm like, why? Why? Like, not true. Not true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's another belief that yeah, exactly. But I also too, like, they believe, you know, you have to lose your hair. I'm like, why? Why do I have to? Yeah.
Yeah, you don't, for sure. And it's a collective belief. And you start to look at all the things, like I said, that we do, we not even realize are in that filtration. And it's like, well, if you're at this age, you should look like this, or this is going to happen. Like these are all pushed in, talk about manipulation, right? Like huge. And it's like, yeah. No, if we don't have that manipulation, then you're in charge. Live as long as you want. Look how you want to look. You can move the energy very quickly and you're very, very, very strong empathically. So I would definitely be more aware. I'll heighten this around what you are consenting to. So just throughout the day, it's a fun game. You'll get it. It's a great, I say game because it's like that. You want it fun, like a little kid, right? So you'll be like, oh, I'm subconsciously still consenting to that. Or I believe that, but I know in my heart, that's actually not true. And that's how you start to back it out. And you'll see you can purge it out fairly quick. How does that feel now in your body?
Feels good. Feels
yeah.
really good. Yeah.
So you just, when you put your hand on your head too, just thank that hand of God for the regrowth, for the hair follicles to be nice and strong, for the regrowth, and just really get into what that energy feels like. My whole head is tingling. Thank you. Yeah, I don't want my hair to grow too fast yet. I can't get a haircut. I need a haircut. I'm like, come on, please. So we'll give you that. But when you start to talk to the body that way, a lot of people forget. So your body hears everything, right? So as soon as you, and even by touching it with your own hand, then you know, it'll start to activate and stimulate and it'll remove. And what will come up for you, because you're very intuitive, is you'll start to notice more patterns, like I said, that will come up. You look like you have quite a few that are just naturally going to leave. So if you're aware of them, just thank you, God, I'm, you know, not consenting, send that back to you for justice, whatever, you know, it feels easy. And then you'll notice that you can override it and just make sure that the self-talk in that is, I'm not consenting to that hair loss pattern anymore. That's not part of me. And you can see a lot of the ancestral stuff is coming out. So you might get some weird dreams. Don't worry about it. Of people you're like, were you in my family or where were you from? It's normal, very normal. Sound good?
Oh, that sounds amazing. Thank you so much, Tracy. I really, really appreciate that.
You're welcome. Yeah, keep me
hair growth and a haircut.
Yeah. No, and because it is, and like I said, it comes as trauma and terror in the body, and it just, you got to remove that all out and strengthen the body. The body remembers, right? And it goes, oh, right, I remember what I need to do here. So it comes back online, and it's our where we kind of go back, can it really come back on? Does it really have to do that? And I get that when I was repairing my body. But the more we stay on that path, the more you start to see, and you're like, oh my gosh, I have all these new little hair growths. I have all these new things happening. And the one thing, again, people hear me say it all the time, the one thing this year that interferes with everything we do is sugar. But it's only because it carries parasites. Yeah.
Yeah. I've been trying to do, like, when I do more sugar and off the wheat too, I feel wheat is an issue as well for me. So
it is in North America. It is for me too. Yeah. North America, big time, because of all the processing they do. No matter how much you even try to go organic, it just doesn't, it's in North America, it's still tainted. So if we were in Europe, it probably wouldn't be. They really are much better in the food. But that's why a lot of people in North America do well when they get rid of, they don't have a gluten intolerance, which they usually get diagnosed with. There's chemicals and toxins so much in the food here that the body's been rejecting it. So the higher vibration we go, the body's actually rejecting not as much the gluten and the sugar, they're rejecting the toxins that are placed upon it. And then the toxins carry what? Low vibrations, fear, doubt. So that's why they put so many toxins in our food. People don't realize it. It's so they can manipulate the bodies with their mind garbage. Yeah.
That is sad. Oh.
Yeah. But we're rising. We're getting out of it. Thank you, God. We are getting out of it. And we all just got to keep, shining our light into it. So keep on doing what you're doing. You're doing amazing. I love it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tracy.
Lots of love.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. All right. We're going to go to Lisa from California. We're skipping our break today because, well, I don't know. I prefer to be with you guys. So
Right.
Lisa from California.
Yeah, Lisa from California. Lisa, you are on with Tracy L. Clark.
Wow. Okay. Hello.
Hi, Lisa.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fabulous. How are you?
I got up. I only had like 6 hours sleep to call you.
I was going to say, you're early bird today.
I'm the one that did the farmer's market, and I'm hoping I'm going to do it again this year. And I try to help friends out a lot, and I was cheering up a friend yesterday, telling her to get out of her way. And, you've got to stay positive and all that. Well, boom, 2 of my tenants give me notice, and they're moving out. Talk about eat your words.
Oh.
So 2 tenants
that's
I
actually
don't
good
want
for you.
moving, gave notice. And I was like, okay, don't let that get the best of you. And
No.
I thought January was going to be crazy, and I'm pleasant because I'm in California.
Yeah.
And I really thought we were going to have a lot more with the presidential thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a lot smoother, well, on the surface.
On the surface. You said the right word, on the surface. Wait, what's coming? Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, and I'm self-employed in the restaurant business, and we've been shut down with all this crazy stuff. And,
yes,
I've been very positive through this all. And anyway, I know I've got infection going on inside my body. I've had, IT infections since December, and they keep kind of coming back. And I know it's nerves and stress. So, hey, and I'm in the book club. I've been listening to that and haven't done a good job reading, but
that's okay.
Anyway.
Hey, I read with you, so don't worry. I'm going to read tonight, so it's all good. You show up, that's okay. Let's actually better tenants, so we can do that. Now, the good thing about what's all happening during all of these mini resets and things like that, and old systems ending, there will be a lot of new things coming. And this is a year of, you can see energetically it shifted. So it always shifts energetically, and then it changes on a physical level, right? For all of us, no matter what we're doing in the world. So that. So good, we can align new tenants. That's easy. The nice thing about this, though, is we're gonna see a lot of things start to open up again, and then this will all just kind of, hopefully by a year from now, it should be like a bad nightmare that's done, because people will start to see even more the manipulation, more of what's happening. So there'll be things that will be forced to be reset in humanity's better way. So that's good. That's good for where you are. It's good for where I am. Our people are in exactly the same position you're in. So very good. And I'm going to actually, what we need to do is I'm going to start to remove, I have to up the vitamin C. So we have to up the vitamin C in your system. Not D, it's actually showing C. And then we're going to actually start to put, I call it spiritual salve, through the entire central nervous system to pull back the nerves. There's a lot of inflammation in your body that for some reason keeps cycling back. So let's start to pull this out. Part of it is stress. And then part of it is it likes living in your body, almost like a parasite, right? Which are people, places, and things. So we'll move the sensitivities. I've just got to change your sensitivity radar, like your frequency radar. We're just going to move it together just a little bit so the body doesn't have to be hit as hard. I got to open up the lungs, though. I'm having a very hard time breathing. Hang on a second. So we'll up the C. We're just going to command the lungs, so the bronchioles, the bronchiolas. We're going to expand the lungs and the rib cage. We're going to expand it more just so we can strengthen. Thank you, God. More oxygen, breathing in. It's like you get these spurts, you do really well, you get going, then, and then want to take a breath and hold, and it's creating oxygen deficiency just a little bit. So we can pull all of this nerve system back, get you back to work and having some fun, because that's actually what humanity wants to do. But unfortunately, the governments of the world have another idea, but it looks like they're going to have to be forced to break out of this very soon. So that is good. Oh, burping all that one away on you. Thank you. How does it, just take a deep breath if you could for a minute and blow that out. Thank you.
Yeah, that feels much more room in there.
Yeah, there's an expansion in the lungs and the rib cage. So you can do this too. So if you just if you're tapping both your hands on your heart and you're just tap them about 3 times and then just command the lungs and the rib cage and pull your hands back. Like you start to command to the body to just expand, and then the energy starts to expand, and then it'll be easier as you're processing your friends, because you seem to be the pillar amongst a lot of people, not only in your own business, but you're like this little pillar. I want to call you like the Mayfair pole. Almost all these people are around you, what you hold up and support, which is beautiful, but we don't want it to stick in your body. And that's why this energy keeps cycling back. So we're just going to, like I said, change the radar a bit so it can flow out of you so you can still support them, but it doesn't have to stick to you, if that makes sense. So how does that feel now?
Much better. And you're right. Yeah. I'm helping a friend with Alzheimer's, and you're right. I'm losing my mind through all this stuff. It's like, I can't help. I have to help. Can't help myself. I love to help.
Yeah. Just remember that you're consenting to making yourself the priority. You're going to do what you can do, and then just ask Spirit to take the rest. And so while you're there, you'll notice it's going to be easier. So Spirit can take the rest, because that's a big undertaking. I know very well.
I know you do.
Yeah.
That's why I connect with you.
I know that well. I've seen it. Like my great aunt, it's interesting. She's gone down that. She was actually doing much better in the home, but they gave her, unfortunately, some medicine, and now she's on the end.
Do you know something that people should, take to help their brain? Because I know lots of people that are starting to lose it, and including myself.
Yeah, they're chemical.
Vitamin, or what's the best thing to take to
sun,
nurture
really
your brain and keep it?
Yeah, sun. And then I always say I do a brain balancing tool. It's actually, I think it's on my YouTube, but also even by tapping the right side of the brain to the left side of the body, left side of the brain to the right, and then holding to command the chemical electrical frequencies to repattern, because there's so much shifting and there's so much energy being thrown at us. What's happening to most people, that's why you're like, are you losing your brain? They're so overwhelmed by the shifts, because nobody talks about this stuff really. Like for you and I, it's kind of commonplace, but a lot of people are like, oh, I don't know about that. Or you're in a place where people are more aware. I'm in a place where people are more asleep, believe it or not. So what happens is they don't know what's happening. So the chemical electrical frequencies of the brain, energetically, they're always moving, but when they get overloaded, they start to shut down, or they're missing their little step. So energetically, the body's getting overloaded. So it's right now what's happening, in your computer, when it goes disk full, and they can't put any more info in, all the information that people have been like pushed and forced upon and not taught how to release it out of the body. It's just they're closing down. They're not retaining memory. You're like you said, you can see it. You're like, what? I feel like I've forgotten this stuff, and it's because the disc is full. So basically, the brain is full, the body is full, and it needs an energetic dump. And that's what I say when you start to actually even do some of the brain balancing and the connection. It'll actually start to keep those frequencies a little bit higher. Now, vitamin, obviously I'll say you're in a place that's sunny, so you're okay. People that are in colder places do need vitamin D. But basically it's maintaining a connection, and it's that communication all the time, communicating with your body, communicating with your brain, communicating with God, like really looking at that and maintaining the chemical electrical frequency and the sensory system. And you can just do that by just putting your hand on your head and commanding that to all get nice and strong. And ask your body to be strong to do, I'll do this right now for you guys, an expansion of deleting the accumulation of known and unknown information. And when you start to move your hand down the body, it actually starts to filter through after a while through the central nervous system energetically to basically like hitting the delete button on your computer, which opens more space to allow you to have a clearer thought process. How does that feel? I'm doing that on you while I'm talking. I'm like, delete.
I feel so much calmer, I tell you. I feel, thank you. Yeah, I feel a calmness, a peace, which is great.
Yeah. So just do that. So you can, watch it later, but just like, thank you, God. I'm just going to pull all that accumulation of known and unknown information I no longer need and just turn it off, delete it, move it out. I say you can use God's spiritual eraser, like, let's erase that out. But all those spaces which will signal to the body. And this is this year, what a lot of the energies that have had us under their thumb for so long are afraid of, because people like you and I and many other people are going, I can do that. I know what to do for myself. So it's really, really, really positive. And then you can stay nice and strong in your thought process. Well done. Proud of you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Please let me know how the farmers market's going. You're doing an amazing thing, and we really need more of what you do. So please keep us
but it's so funny. I have a group of people that are like fighting me. Some
I'm sure.
Very evil.
I'm sure.
And so anyway, we'll see. With God's help, and I really am depending more on spirit, which is great, instead of myself.
And it's what we all need.
And I thank you for that, because the thank you God 3 times and reset. I mean, it's my newest prayer.
Yeah. And also the other one I like is I'm always like, God, I'm like, literally, I see this hand of God. I've done this for years at work. I'm like, okay, I don't know what to do there. I'm going to give this problem to you. I need a creative solution, and I really need you to show it to me, and then cut the cords I'll do it now for you. But for those people, remember, the reason they're coming is because you are on another verge of a breakthrough. And I see this even in my business. You'd be crazy. Like if you saw some things people send in and I'm like, whoa, but it's always when I'm on another level of another jump. So I get it now, right? I'm like, I'm jumping. So they always attack more when you're ready to jump. And right now, like energetically, I have never in my life seen such a spiritual battle going on. That's why I say to people when they're like watching, I'm like, don't think that this is just all going to go smooth right now, because we're now going to start to see that in front of us. But it's a good thing for us as humanity. It really will make us come together in a new way. That's what we need to. Yeah, it's very good.
Good. You also talk a lot about a Bitcoin, and I really have realized that money's not worth anything. And I've gotten some government loans, because of this, and I've got it sitting there. And, I've asked several people about a Bitcoin, and not one person likes it. They'll, no, stay away from that. I mean, I'm scared to do anything with this money because I don't want to lose it, because I am going to need it.
Yep.
What about the Bitcoin? You talk about it every now and then.
Yeah, I talk about the crypto. I've done a lot of classes on it, and I do, because it would take a long time for me to go into it. But what people need to understand is the reason that was made was because of in 2008, what all the people that got wrecked, and somebody actually came together, and people have all of their points of view, don't care. But I say to people, if you understand it was created to create more freedom, and it scares the garbage out of people that don't understand or they haven't read the white paper. And, people have to do what's good for them. You never put everything in one basket anyways, but you can also take profits along the way. I've been talking about it since it was like $900, and I think it's like 35,000 now. But
yeah, I'm even more scared to buy it now.
Well, you don't have to buy a whole. I always say to people, you can buy $20. $20. People don't get that, but it's a little bit. Is it a riskier play? Sure, it's newer, but really it's been around since 2008. It's an energy. I say to people, what's your why? What's your why to do it? And I know for me, my why is I was in the alternative investment space. I saw so much manipulation, that it just made me sick. And sick that people keep pushing this. And like 2008 made me sick. I was in the alternative space in that time, and I'm like, wow, you guys protect yourself. You don't care about any of these little people, because if they did, they would have done something very different, and they didn't. And that's where the space kind of says, we're tired of being manipulated. We're tired of being controlled. And that's why people go there. They're just using their money to say no. But, again, it's people have to feel comfortable. There's a lot of education. I've been educated in it for years, and also have some very high up good buddies that I can ask, am I seeing this right? Am I seeing this wrong? But, everybody has to do what's right for them. But people forget you can buy $100. People spend $100 at Starbucks. I'm like, you can buy $100 and leave it there. You can, so it's not like traditional stuff, but it's education, it's learning, it's shifting, it's changing financial paradigms. governments are going to go to digital currencies. Darn rights, they're going to do it. And they're going to probably say, you don't have any money in your bank, like I said, so use our currency. And now they'll tell you where to go, what to do, how to spend it. No, nobody wants that. That's not right. But that's what the World Economic Forum's talking about. And nobody seems to be waking up to that. And I'm like, guys, like, hello, like energy's changing. Money is just energy. It's just there. But they're trying to move this issue going on right now so they can pad their pockets. That's what they're doing. And it's sad. It's really sad. So it's a way people are just saying, like, I don't need to play with you anymore. I don't want to play in your field anymore. Like, it just doesn't work. So yeah, it's going to be a really interesting year. But definitely, I don't know. I can't tell people what to do, but I look at this energy in March, April around even what's happening on an energetic level financially, and it bothers me. And it bothers me because I don't want to see, they shifted it in March, but that looks up and down this year. Like, I don't want to see people get hurt, but I know they don't care. They don't care who they wipe out so they can have more billions of dollars. That's not
totally. And I understand that. And that was the hard one for me, but I learned that a long time ago.
Yeah, you did.
Well, I learned it, but we relearn it when someone hurts us again, right?
Yeah.
Or you see it happen.
And the thing is, I really don't want to see people wait for a crisis like that before they take action. So you learned it, no different than, I was sick. So I had to unlearn because I just thought sick was normal. But we all we're humans. I've been programmed to wait till you're in the crisis. Well, we don't want to be in the crisis. We want to be, already like prepared. So when something happens, we're like, okay. So the way I always say it to people, I'm like, if you have a little gold and silver, if you have a little bit of crypto, if you have some cash here, if you have some cash in the bank, if you're whatever, because they are going to raise rates, they'll have to, or they got to come to a new system. Like, if you understand all this, it doesn't work. And so what they'll do, we all still have to see and watch. But the way I see, if you got a little bit of, you're in the market, if you got 5 different fruits, and if one goes bad, you got 4 others, right? So I always say it's better to be a little bit more diversified, and you only kind of put in what you're okay if you woke up and it wasn't there tomorrow. And that's where people go wrong, because they can put everything in their stock market, and then if they woke up tomorrow and it wasn't there, they'd be panicked. So I'm like, okay, so what alleviates that? Because energetically, all of that financial issue will take your ancestral patterns, what you've seen in the collective, what the collective is feeling, and all of that. And it's an interesting in North America, people aren't even talking about how they're not even talking about how the big shifts are happening on the planet and how many people are starving. So I think it's a really good time for people to just dive in closer to their connection and understand what that new space is. Yeah. Thank you, God. Makes sense? Great.
I always love talking to you. I love listening to you too. But listen, I've taken up a lot of your time. I gratefully appreciate it. And
thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. So much love. All right. Have a great day. All right. We only have a couple minutes left, but I want to quickly ask if we can get to Gabriel from London. Just quickly, let's see what we have here.
Yeah, let's see. Gabriel from London. Gabriel, you are on with Tracy L. Clark.
Hi, Gabriel.
Oh, hi. This is Mum Christine. Just a minute.
Hi.
I'm going to... Hi.
We have a few minutes. Let's see if we can squeeze him in.
Okay, right. Here he comes. Right. There you go.
Hi.
Can we hear him there? Are you there?
I'm here. Is it?
Yes. What's your question? Yeah, it's okay.
I don't really know, to be honest. I just kind of got put on here.
You just got forced upon. Well, why don't we do this? Why don't we start to move some energy in your field to make things a little bit stronger, a little bit more grounded with all the changes, so you can start to actually open up in different ways to even having more fun. There seems to be a lot of, you're probably like, why am I thrown on here? But there's a lot of different energy that is just, you're done with. It seems to be leaving you. And there's a big part of you that's ready to have more.
I'm dealing with here.
Yeah, more joy. Your body is craving it. So if you're feeling heavier or anxious, it's actually, you're quite intuitive. I will tell you this, you have a very strong intuition and you've discounted it for too long. You got to stop discounting it. Like,
I know.
And don't be.
It's hard for me, too, because I'm so young, and knowing all these things makes it pretty difficult because I don't really have anyone my age that understands it.
Oh, I know. That's why we're creating a place for kids your age. You know what? With your mom, come along with your mom. Ask questions. Come in the community, ask questions, because we have a lot of kids, believe it or not, that start to open up and they do the same thing. So we can help teach you, and you can use it, and you can go in the world and use your gifts. You can't suppress them, and that's why that.
Use it. I very much do, and it sometimes it's a little scary because I attract just as much good as I do negative.
Exactly, because that's where we got to anchor it in, because when you have a lot of light, what do you think happens? The dark will try to come through. It's very normal. I was like that as a child, and what they do is you have to understand too that you become this extra beacon, like you're a big flashlight. So when you go in the world and use your gifts, what the darker energies will do is like, oh, beacon, right? So the stronger you get, and we can adjust this, you can say, yeah, no, I'm not consenting to that. Go away. I'm not consenting to everything you have. Go away. And then you're going to see, you're going to attract way more good. How does that feel?
What? I don't know. Stuff.
Yeah. It's definitely your.
I could tell I have a very heavy energy right now, and not everything in my system is very light, but I'm trying to fix that, and it seems to be working.
It's moving. It's shifting. Just stay focused. Exactly. It's your heart, not your mind. A lot of people say it's how I think or feel. It's how you feel is always
I can
first.
Tell it's the heart. It's got this kind of barrier around it, being like, well, I don't want any more crap to deal with.
Yeah, sure you don't. But you know what? One of the things you should be glad at, be glad you're doing it now, not when you're 45.
True.
You know how far ahead you are? Most people are 50 years old like me, and they're like going down the hill. So you don't want to be there. And so commend yourself.
It's an odd thing too, because I can physically feel that it's got stronger though. It's kind of a weird feeling to feel a different energy than when that you felt your whole entire life.
Yeah. It's foreign. And it is weird. It's definitely strange. I feel you. I hear you. I've been there. And it is. And as children, when we're not taught in school about our empathic abilities, and we're forced to have to listen to stuff that and you're like, that doesn't make sense. Yeah, 100%. But it's your generation that's going to make all this mess go away. So remember that. Yeah, I'm proud of you. So thank you for calling in and being thrown on the phone, and we are going to help you even more. Thank you, God. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. I know Olivia's like, gotta go. So I don't mean to cut everybody off. I know we had a lot more callers on the phone. We will get to you guys. Please call in. We have Jeremy next week, but the week after that, we have a call-in show. We have our friend coming back. Yes. With our crystals. I'm so happy Shivani's going to come back and do a little show. You guys can call in with her as well at the end of the month. So we're going to have some fun and play. Thank you, God. Don't forget the book club tonight. Let's have some fun. We're reading Radical Faith, which is not what you think it is. So thank you, God. Check us out. Come join us in the Miraculous Academy. That's how you have direct access to me, because that's how you get direct access to me. Miraculous Academy, having fun, shifting and sifting and making your world better. So I get it. I know what it's like when you wake up. I know what it's like to be a kid, not get it as an adult. People thinking you're crazy, but let's be crazy together. Let's have fun together. Let's shift together, sift together, because that's the way we're going to change the world. Don't buy into what you're seeing out there. And when those energies come, no consent. Thank you, God. So thank you, everybody, for calling in. Thank you for being so amazing. And we'll see you next week with Jeremy from Guildhall Wealth. And let's talk about your money a little bit more. Have a great week, everyone. Thank you for listening to the Tracy L. Clark Show with me, Tracy L., where I teach you how to connect to the God consciousness so you can unlock your superpowers and connect at light speed and live your extraordinary life. Tune in every Tuesday at 8 a.m. Pacific on Transformation Talk Radio, where together we will unlock the secrets of your body and your life. As the founder of the Body Regeneration Academy, I, Tracy L., will provide you with the insight and simple tools you can apply right now in your life to move you forward and leave the past in the dust. To join the Body Regeneration TLC Online Academy, make sure you check me out at tracylclark.com.